Welcome to Business Coaching Secrets with Karl Bryan. If you want to attract new high-end coaching clients, fill live events, and build a wildly profitable coaching practice where business owners pay, stay, and refer, you've come to the right place. In this podcast, Karl provides his keys to the kingdom for finding and signing high-paying clients and building the coaching business of your dreams. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, coaches around the world, welcome to another episode of Business Coaching Secrets with the man, the myth, the legend, the king of the Caribbean, Karl Bryan. That's not getting old for you, is it?
That shoots. Sounds good. It's got a ring to it, bud. It's got a ring to it. How are you doing, Road Dog? What's going on, Shoots?
I am doing pretty good, I'd say. I'm not sure if I had COVID last week, but I would almost certainly guarantee it. Good luck getting a rapid test anywhere in this province, but I did run 8 miles yesterday, so
nice.
If anything, I did pick it out of my system yesterday, so there is that. How about yourself? Did you go for an 8 mile run, or did you just go another horseback ride? Is that like on the beach?
Yeah, I went for possibly an 8 mile walk, as I do every morning. My sciatic nerve is still, it's nearly there. It's not quite there, but that's probably a lame excuse, because if my sciatic nerve was over 100%, I would not have done an 8 mile jog. But I have been hitting the gym every day, Shoots. So there you go, which is also not good for the sciatic nerve, but whatever.
Just so everybody knows, Tammy's nickname for Karl is also my sciatic nerve. So there you go.
This be true, unfortunately. This be true.
So I'm reviewing your jokes that I've seen you send out this week. Dr. Oz says rubbing coffee grounds on your naked body prevents cellulite. Apparently, you can't do it at Starbucks. And now the cops are here for my wife. Let's not kid ourselves. You went in, you ordered a London Fog, and then you got some extra coffee grounds. Is this what's happening? Oh my God. And then some of these acronyms that you're saying as part of the group chat of your dad when he was in the ICU, BFF, best friend fell, BTW, bring the wheelchair. One of my personal favorites, MILF, meal I'd like to forget. That is a beauty right there, bud. I don't know how you come up with this stuff. It is something else. It is something else. Anyways, anything you want to say about that? Like what like? No. Okay. Well,
I knew you'd go to MILF, by the way, but my dad did actually have a couple of meals that he does tell me that he prefer to forget. And anyways, let's leave that there, Shoots. Let's go, man. Let's go. Let's do some coaching stuff, Shoots. What do you think of that?
It'd be a good time to start. We've pretty much wasted everybody's time in the pre-show, so we might as well give them some value today. All right, diving in. First question. I've got 15 coaching clients. Hello, well done, whoever wrote this question here.
Nice.
15, that is impressive. I've got 15 coaching clients, but struggle to get referrals. Ooh, what do you suggest as the best way to get referrals? Fantastic question.
Yeah, nice. Well, I'll tell you, you want to get strategic. If you've got 15 clients, I would dare say that you might not have room for another 15. So there might be a different conversation about, strategy and higher level approach. But best way to get referrals, Road Dog? That's premise. Best way to get referrals?
This is it.
Okay. So look, you want to sell through, not just to, right? So what you can do is you could set yourself up for referrals before you actually start the coaching relationship. Like, here's what I mean. When I built a $5.5 million coaching company, we used to do $400,000 a month in new small business coaching clients. A large part of our coaching clients, they were comprised of accountants, business brokers, think graphic designer, web designer, magazine, a newspaper, a promotional company. Like basically what I'm saying is B2B businesses. So if you think about it, they had my targeted, like who's the client of an accountant? Who's the client of a magazine selling advertising? Who's the client of the online directory? Who's the client of, the business broker? And they're all business owners, right? So rather than just sell them a coaching program, which we did, the way that I would teach it, the way that I would explain it, the way that we approached it, is we'd sell through rather than to, right? So every client that we signed on, provided, and assuming we did a great job and all that sort of stuff, it wasn't about, could they send us one or two referrals? It was like, if they had 300 clients, they had 300 clients they could send to us, right? So we went to B2B folks as opposed to the mortgage broker, the chiropractor, the dentist, the roofer, the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker, right? So consumers versus B2B folks. I remember, what was it? Like I remember a magazine, they signed up and they had sent us $100,000 of high-end coaching clients within 90 days of me basically shaking her hand, right? Pre-COVID, by the way, very importantly. But and that's not $100,000 of like fictitious, maybe that was like $100,000 in my bank account as a result of, shaking hands actually, truth be told, she came to my event. I had a bit of an idea that she was coming. So not accidentally and very strategically, she ended up in the front row. Because again, people at the front row, the second row, the third row the people closest to you will buy at a ridiculously higher rate than those at the back. So let's say that you got 10 rows. I can tell you your conversions in row 1, 2, and 3 will be significantly better than 7, 8, or what am I saying? 8, 9, and 10, right? So anyways, she was right there and bingo, bango, bongo. We crushed it. Or if you call that crushing it, right? This is way back in, mid 2000s. So you want to get more referrals. Like, let's just maybe, Road Dog, from a strategic point of view, let's maybe put a 1, 2, 3 to this. Like, 1, you got to knock it out of the park, right? You got to go above and beyond. And no doubt that's not a surprise, but again, how early you're looking for those referrals, right? You want to deliver insane value first and then look to the referral. And then, by the way, we'd also ensure they realized how far above and beyond we were going, right? So like one of the things we do is like time emails to go out at 2:30 in the morning or 12:30, depending upon, how much of a night owl individual was. And it was like we were burning the midnight oil. We would put together business plans. They're about 50 pages. We had software to basically facilitate that. So we didn't need to write the business plan from woe to go. And the business plan did not need to be perfect, but we would show up with like a 50-page business plan. And they were like, wow, this wasn't in the agreement. I wasn't expecting this. You put this together for me, over the last week. So bottom line is we had processes in place to make sure that we appeared to be, and we that we were over delivering, but we absolutely were doing that. Right. We'd strategically wait for, what do I call it, like a moment. The mistake that people make is they ask for the referral at like a 90-day mark, right? Or call 3, or like at the beginning of the, they'd set up a call and then they would do you're asking the referral at a specific time. That's not the way to do it. You want to do it at like a magic moment. So like they just got their biggest client. They just formed a joint venture. They just called you to say thank you, and they're singing your praises and saying, wow, you guys are the best. They're just commenting on, wow, you guys really over deliver. And by the way, that email you sent me was at 12:30 last night. Gosh, I really appreciate. And it's very obvious that you're going above and beyond. So then hopefully you're understanding, instead of call 3 or day 90 or day 2, asking for a referral, we're waiting for an emotional moment. And then that's when we put it in, right? And then at this moment, so let's go to like number 3. So 1 would be over deliver. 2 would be, what do I call it? Wait for like a moment. And then 3, at this moment, that stage, I'd get them to refer their clients in a variety of different ways, right? The ideal situation, which wasn't always possible, was to go to their clients 10 at a time, and we do live workshops in partnership with them. So let's say that they own a magazine and they sell advertising. Well, we go to them and say, look, let's partner up and run some workshops, the same workshop that you came to at the Chamber of Commerce. I'll deliver that in your boardroom. I'll make you look like a superstar. I'll encourage them to, spend more money advertising, because that's a very important part of business, right? Everybody hates advertising until they want to sell their own car, and we help them jack that up. But what we'll do is we'll put 10, instead of putting all 100 people, because we want to have smaller rooms and excellent follow-up as opposed to big rooms and poor follow-up, 10 at a time, and then we do a presentation on their behalf. So idea being, rather than go to them and say, hey, can I have a referral? What we're doing is going to them and saying, look, let's run a joint workshop, educate your business owners. Yes, they'll be given the opportunity to buy and to basically get accountability and some coaching from us. But most importantly, if they don't spend 5 cents at the end of that workshop, they're going to know, as do you, after that presentation of the chamber, how to grow your business at a significantly higher level, and they'll know the same thing, right? So that the X factor, Road Dog, is the timing of the question for the referral. So that's it. And I can tell you, you will double, if not triple, the referrals that come in if you take that kind of approach. So that's what I'd say, Road Dog. But the question originally, what was it? They had 12, 15, whatever that was, like 15 coaching clients. Can you handle another 15 clients? And then are you going to have the opposite of network effects, where your business starts to eat itself, where you now have more clients and not the processes in place, and you might end up with some unhappy coaching clients? So think about that strategically before you go hammer and tong after referrals. So there you go, Road Dog. What do you think, bud?
Well, so you're talking about this moment, right? You mentioned that a few times there. Can you explain that a little bit further, like this whole moment thing, and explain everyone how that would work?
Okay. Yep. Good question. Think emotion versus logic, right? Like, imagine going to the bar, meeting a beautiful woman, and then trying to convince her to come home with you using logic, right? Probably tried that back in the day. But emotion is the only way you're going to get her, out of the bar, holding hands and on your way to wherever, right? And I've never had a woman pick me up at the bar, although that sounds amazing. But I can only imagine it's the same for, women. Like it's emotion. It's not logic. Selling coaching is the same, right? Like getting referrals is the same. Coaching clients make a decision to buy from you with emotion, and then they justify it, as in the already made decision, with logic, right? So sending you a referral is the same. Staging it at, call 3 is a mistake. You want to have that moment. You want to have like an rather than a moment, let's just say like, what do I want to call it? An emotional moment, let's call it, right? And by the way, there's only 7 emotions that you need to know, and that's fear, curiosity, certainty, guilt, pride, greed, and love. Again, it might be worth writing those down, but this is it, right? Fear, curiosity. That's when you're selling coaching, right? But fear, curiosity, certainty, guilt, pride, greed, and love. So your coaching clients are looking for a transformation, right? So paint an emotional picture of it for them. What does that transformation look like, as opposed to logic? Like the new holiday, the new freedom, the new demand, the new respect, the new website, the new bulletproof system, the new capable staff that they're going to have, the new marketing system, the new, kick butt sales team, the new car, the new home, the new friends, the new parties, and understanding your client at a slightly higher level, and then what motivates them. Road Dog, going back to, a podcast a long time ago, you and I, we kind of went through, there's different things that motivate people, but one of them is freedom. And you were like, oh, that was the big one for me. So like to sit there, if I sit there and try to transform you, or paint this transformational picture for you in the future that looks like a very regimented, 12 hours a day, no holidays, you're in the moment, I might be able to convince you this is amazing. But when it comes to deploy, if you do follow through, there'll be self-sabotage, and there's a better chance that you're not actually going to follow through and then be wondering why, right? Like, why is it procrastination? And that's it, because you're not moving towards that bigger picture, right? So bottom line, the referral party is looking for the same thing from their, for their clients. They're not just looking for it from themselves. I love the idea of my number one client being able to go on a 1 month holiday with his family. I love the idea of somebody like Road Dog that, not only wants freedom, but frankly needs it. I love the idea of him having more freedom. Totally juices me. So not only do you sell transformation to your client, but you're actually selling transformation to, for their referral partner, for their client. You know what I mean? So selling in a different way, but the bottom line is you're using emotion as opposed to logic, saying you're going to help them make more money and their clients make more money for a certain demographic and a certain individual. That might be the right approach, right? But generally speaking, you'll get a lot further by painting a transformational situation. Like sell the low score, not the golf club, right? Sell the longest drive, not the golf ball, right? And by the way, on a semi-related note, right, our government officials that all, locked us in our houses and different, depending upon where you are in the world, still trying to lock you in your houses and, keep your kids out of school and that sort of stuff, like they use fear, you just scoot through your Facebook feed and you're going to see it right there. So anyways, forget that topic. So the moment, Road Dog, it's high on emotion. Again, and if you're going to try take a beautiful woman home from the bar using logic, it would be like a moment, right? Like when she was laughing, as an example, that might be a good time to ask. But anyways, that's my answer, Shoots. What do you think, Bud? Does that make sense? Fill in the blank.
Well, it does. There's a couple of ways I can go here. I can go with we can go straight into dating advice by Dr. Karl Bryan. Who
I do not. Yeah, exactly.
There's conflicting stories of how him and Tammy met, but anyways, we don't need to go there. One is very confident on one side, and the other is like, that's not at all how it happened. So I'll let fans kind of
told that story yesterday. So there you go. But anyways, let's keep going.
This is the best thing for you, Bud. Like all of your old stories are new again in person.
Yeah, I know, exactly. It's amazing. I'm back. I'm back, baby.
Is this why you move every 3 years? Is that what it is? Oh my God. You know what? By the time, it's just a matter of time, right? I think once you're gone for 9 years, you could just close the loop and start at the beginning again and
circle back.
Your way through.
I was just thinking that. I was like, you know what? We get like an open loop, close the loop shit.
Speaking of open loops, you went a little dark there in that last one. How dare you? It's like, what's going on? All of a sudden, you're picking fights with governments and stuff. But it ties in really, really well because somebody wrote in and they said they have this propensity, definitely not a word that's in my vernacular, to go, quote, go negative. So any tips on staying positive? And then also to help my clients stay positive. Boy, oh boy, this is
nice.
It's a beauty. So there you go. Do you want to try and tackle that one?
No. Propensity. I agree. We get some propensity. We get some 4-syllable words going on. Shoot.
It's too early. As we're recording this, too early. Stop it. Tone it down on the big words.
Okay. Look, I'd go negative. It's just your advantage point. If you look for red Toyotas, you're going to find red Toyotas. If you're looking for Harleys, you're going to find them. If you're looking for things to distract you from working throughout the day, you're going to find them. You're looking for problems, you're going to find them. You're looking for reasons to be angry, you're going to find them. But if you're looking for opportunity, you're going to find those also. And I know as I say that sounds somewhat platitudinal, but the truth is, if your reticular activating system, you start looking for some, you will find it, and then you will lie to yourself if necessary, or exaggerate or adjust what you're looking at. Gray will be black, and turquoise will be blue, etc. So, just you got to help your clients, you got to help yourself get excited about, leaving your comfort zone, and thinking outside the box. Like everybody is nervous about growth, but then when they get it, they love it. Just thinking, if you've got kids, you see it in them every single day. They, like my daughter, I think we did mention this, but my daughter went in the talent contest she's crying and, oh my gosh. And like, and then she did it and she did really, really good. I'm so proud of her. And like, could you imagine how amazing she felt afterwards? But prior to it, I mean, she's literally in tears, pooping her pants. And understandably, she's 8 years old and there's, 150 people or whatever staring, in the audience. So, and it's a big stage, which is raised up and there's lights, like, bright lights. But anyway, so, but how amazing did she feel afterwards? So what I'm getting at, leaving your comfort zone is a great way to all of a sudden, run to the negative, run to the anxiety, and then kind of run right through it. Like, look, opportunity. I remember I wrote some about this. It was a while ago, probably a couple of years ago, but like in the early 1900s, don't know what it was, but a California fruit exchange. They were losing money and market share on oranges, and they hired a sales guy who had no experience selling oranges, right? It's part of the legend of the story. What was his name? Albert, can't remember Albert Lasker, I believe it was, but his task was to sell oranges, right? And not the highest level of job maybe back then, but, beggars can't be choosers, and Apple wasn't around yet. But that was it. Like, his job was to sell oranges, and, they were looking to capture market share, looking to grow, right? A month into the job, he said, I got an idea. We should start selling orange juice, right? And we'll also sell the benefits of it being really healthy and encourage others to do the same, right? And of course, it takes many oranges to fill one glass. Well, orange sales increased by, I don't know how much, but it was like a couple 1,000%. And then Albert Lasker went down as the man that invented orange juice, right? So like, ice cream was around for 100 years before the invention of the ice cream cone. What is it? Was it Nike and the roll-on deodorant? No, what am I saying? No, roll-on deodorant was brought by the ballpoint pen, right? And the Nike, what is it? Nike, Phil Knight, who owns Nike, he was using a waffle iron, I think, and then basically he poured rubber on it, and that's how the Nike, the unique Nike sole that looked pretty cool. Nowadays it's old hat, but it looked really cool. Helped sell a lot of shoes. That's basically, he was looking for opportunity, right? Like he's making waffles, and all of a sudden he's got a new idea for the whatever you call it, for the soles of a Nike. And then, many subscription services, you see them all over the place, but like, owning a car is going to become less and less and less popular in the future for sure. So there's all kinds of subscriptions. If you live in a big city, there'd be no need to have a car unless you really wanted one. You just got a subscription service, and you can just go start the car with an app. We've got scooters all over, pretty much every city. Uber was originally a limo service, right? Ray Kroc started his first McDonald's at 42. Colonel Sanders, I think it was 62 when he got his first place opened after countless rejections. So some monumental moments are about to happen in business. The question is, are you going to have one of them? Is your client going to have one of them? The best ideas in 10 years from now, Road Dogg, they haven't even been thought of. Like the next Uber, the next Facebook, the next Apple, Disney, Rolex, Louis Vuitton, whatever it is, it hasn't even been thought of. The new, earbuds, whatever. It's the idea is still in between somebody's ears, and maybe you listening, right? And you're not too late. A big one that I hear, they don't use those words, but I hear it all the time. Like, they had some success that they're referencing and pissed off because you can get lucky and make it. We can't get lucky and keep it. That kind of saying, really, it's not what you make, it's what you keep. That kind of, hits them straight in the nose. And it's like, they feel a little bit late. They're trying to make up for lost ground. Right. And Road Dogg, like, it's like my daughter with the talent contest, right? Like your struggle is often the greatest gift of your lifetime. And I know in the moment, and as I say that, everybody's like, yeah, no, I know that. And I know an example. But the problem is, if you're going through hell, are you continuing to do it? Are you doing it with enthusiasm? Right. And the answer is probably not. So if you changed your mind, like you're thinking about, you go more negative than positive. It's the way that you see it, right? Like my daughter, she had a situation different than the talent contest, but like she was really, she was scared. And I said, baby, like we were just talking about her emotions, and she was anxious and she was tense, kind of the sweaty kind of palms. She's 8 years old, so she didn't have sweaty palms, but like that kind of deal, right? Nervousness, a tightness coming over her, right? And I'm like, but that's the exact same way you feel when you're excited, right? So scared and excited are the exact same thing. It's just a different vantage point, right? So I don't know that, so negative to positive. My question is that, maybe if you reverse engineer it, you kind of matrix a situation, and is it negative? Or is it just a feeling of I'm not enough? That's, and if you just adjust that ever so slightly and say, you know what, maybe, if I could adjust the situation, I felt like I was running towards the fire instead of running to, away from it. And that as I'm standing in the fire, that massive opportunity, the next KFC, the next McDonald's, the next Apple, the next Disney kind of overcome me, or became, I don't know how to word that, but just kind of became the thing. That would be, it's a bit of a game changer. So I don't know. That's, that's what I'm going to say, Road Dog. You just, it's a vantage point. What you look for is what you're going to get. And really, what is negative? You can only have one thought at any one time. Like, me, Road Dog, you, anybody, your kids, your mom, your dad, your auntie, your uncle, any of your coaching clients, you can only have a positive and negative thought. So it's proven time and time again. Like if you take on, like right now, if you're standing somewhere where you can do it, I challenge you to take on the stance of Superman, right? Think about where Superman, hands on hips, chest out, shoulders back, head up, a level of confidence in your face, and the muscles in your face and whatnot. You know what I mean? Like just, stand like Superman or Superwoman, or was it Wonder Woman back in the day, right? Like stand like that, hands on hips, and watch how you feel, right? It's absolutely proven to basically, rush dopamine through your body, and effectively you will become, you're going to feel more confident immediately. Or smile. It's impossible to smile and have a negative thought. It's impossible. You, me, Road Dog, everybody, like that, the end. So again, smile. You feel like you're falling negative. Make a habit of, smiling, and then assuming the Superman stance, right? Or Wonder Woman, as the case may be, right? And you can completely change things. So and there's so many folks out there significantly smarter and better than I, that could, provide you some value in terms of, how to do it. But, if you are not happy, again, like as a or you're, I don't know, not happy, it sounds so kind of pathetic, but like, if you do find yourself falling towards negative, I would challenge you, are you working on something big, meaningful, purposeful, in a strategic way? And do you feel like you're getting, a little bit closer, a little bit closer, a little bit closer? Road Dog, we mention this all the time, but you close off the podcast with progress equals happiness. Well, if we look at your wheel of life and we look at the different areas, like your relationship with your wife, your relationship with your husband, relationship with your business, relationship with your clients, relationship with your kids, your relationship with money, your relationship with your business, relationship with, the level of wealth, your net worth. Well, progress equals happiness. And in that individual area, if you're feeling short-term progress, any kind of progress in the moment over a period of time, you're going to feel positive about that area of your life, like your career. If right now you're negative about your business coaching career, or you're positive, progress equals happiness will basically tell you why you are happy with it or unhappy with it. You're either feeling progress for your coaching company and you're not, and that will pretty much tell you where you're at. So I don't know, Road Dog. So that's what I would say. But very importantly, we kind of got there by just, like people are looking for transformation. And as you know, actually, I'll tell you, okay, coaching clients buy coaching for two reasons. One is transformation, and then the other one is reinforcement of their identity. Possibly a little bit of rabbit hole we won't go down today. We may or may not have spoken about that recently. But think about that. So when you're sitting in front of an individual, I would be working out, little red arrow, you are here. What is it they want? And get a bit of a picture if they're looking for transformation or reinforcement of their identity. And if you adjusted your wording and adjusted your approach, and then the pictures that you're ultimately painting, with your words, you might find, like, an example, if I'm a kick butt dad and I feel like what is a kick butt dad? It's different to Road Dog. It's different for me. It'll be different from you, right? And the same, as a mom. Well, maybe one guy thinks that being able to take my family away for a month, have total presence, and be able to take them, away for a month, that is what a successful father is about, so that's reinforce that identity that's where we're going to get to, right? And that there's also an element of transformation there. If they're not there, we're going to transform you, your business, your reality into something that's going to make that happen. A lot of dads, a lot of moms, a lot of families, they want to go to Disneyland, right? And for them, that's a picture of success, right? They will paint that picture with your words and the direction of your meeting, as opposed to, we're going to make tons of money and, buy you a red Ferrari. That could be an example of what freedom means to the individual sitting in front of you. So I don't know, Road Dog, very importantly, if someone is going towards negative, I don't think that they have, they're not moving strategically towards a bigger picture, a goal, a dream, a purpose, on a consistent basis, and that could change everything. So what do you think? You agree? Comment? What do you think, bud?
Well, I don't know, man. Like, it's just such a personal thing. You know what I mean? Like, don't overlook your sources and what you're taking in. Turn off the news. Get off the internet.
Absolutely.
Stuff. Like, for me personally, like, I watch Elevation Church on Sundays, dude. Like, that gets me in the right mindset. That's a great positive message. Like, what positive messages are you putting into your head? And that's, it's a tough one, but, because everybody can fall into a pit and go dark and go negative. But, as long as you have that bigger purpose, vision, calling, whatever you want to call it, that hopefully and typically will pull you through it. So,
nice.
anyways, we get all philosophical here, and that's probably not our strong suits. Let's not kid ourselves. I have a question here. I love this because I can't wait to hear what you say. Do you recommend offering money back or risk reversal when closing coaching? I freaking love this question because this is a big one, right? People are like, how can I eliminate possibly all of the risk? How can I make this an absolute no-brainer? And especially with the money back, and I'm not sure where your head's at on this, but let's not kid ourselves. There's a lot of new coaches out there, dude. And they do not legit have the money to get that back to them. Like, can you touch on that maybe too? Like, what are your thoughts on all this money back, risk reversal stuff?
Yeah, good. I agree with you. It's top of mind for a lot of folks in the coaching world. I'm going to say yes and no. Like, if you're legit and you've got more coaching clients you can handle, you've been around the block, got a documented body of success there, it's just not necessary. And there's an argument to say that the client, you're not exactly in need of a client. Think of the referral. If you got 15 clients, right? Like, you should be able to get 5 referrals in pretty short order, right? So if you're not, and there's also an argument, and this is an argument, and this is not black and white, but maybe the client that needs risk reversal to say yes to you might not be the ideal client for, the individual with a lot of runs on the board and a little bit less patience, if that's, but also if you're newer to coaching, I would say, why not? I tell you what the risk reversal will do, puts more pressure on you. You know what I mean? And this, guess what? You learn at a higher level, you learn quicker. So that's not such a bad thing, but no doubt you could see and if you're going to offer a money back guarantee, I presume you're going to have to get your hands a little dirtier than otherwise. So, your learning curve, will happen quicker, and then you'll end up in the first camp quicker, where you got the runs on the board, you've got the clients. You're like, you know what? If you can't make a decision, I'd say this all the time. If you can't make a decision, we make the decision for you, right? Like, your best good coaching relationship, like good business owners make hard decisions quickly. If that's not you, we got to really think about whether we want to be working together. Because what I don't want to do is going around and around and around she goes and put all this effort in to find out that in 90 days you're overwhelmed, can't keep up, and you need to hit pause because you're overwhelmed, right? So anyways, let's just say if you're super, if you're cranking it and you're not in need of coaching clients, just not necessary, and you should have, sharpened your sales saw by that stage where it's just not necessary. And if you're newer to it, you should put it out there, and it's going to help you close some deals, right? And coaching, here's the bigger framework, the bigger message. The business owner is not looking to take advantage of you. They're not looking to look, I'm going to pay you $2,000 a month. I'm going to get this guy to 90 days and then I'm going to ask for all my money back. That's just not the way that the relationship will unfold. And no doubt there's an example of that out there, but it's the anomaly on absolute steroids. Do understand that when you offer a money back guarantee, my experience, absolutely positively, because we did this for literally years and years, everything was a money back guarantee. That's just the way that we had, framed it up. People were not looking to take advantage of us, right? So the anomaly happens once in a while, but as a body of work, just no chance, right? So I think that that's what possibly the newer coach needs to hear. So if you do offer it, you're going to be just fine. And if you don't deliver, guess what? There's a debate to say you should probably give back some money. It didn't work out. And like in every business transaction, someone is taking a financial and an emotional risk, right? So good operators realize the importance of having you, quote unquote, let's say, feel certain, and therefore turn the risk back onto themselves. And in some cases, even better than a money back guarantee like that. I've done like platform selling where I sold at the front of the room and I gave a double your money back guarantee, right? Or maybe like a few examples, like you have a puppy dog close. So that could be like where I'll coach you for free for 30 days. And then in week 4, day 31, you start paying, right? Or, a point blank money back guarantee, a double your money back guarantee, a triple your money back guarantee. Would I recommend that? Again, you better know your stuff and you better be very comfortable with your paperwork. But that being said, again, people don't buy double your money back guarantees that are looking to take advantage of you as a general rule. But if you sell 10 people, let's just say there's 100 people in the room and 10 people buy because of your guarantee that otherwise wouldn't have bought, and then 2 people want their money back, you're still plus 8. Again, business is just math. Think about that. Another thing you could do is work with them at no charge until they're fully satisfied. There's one, like, think of real estate, right? Like if you don't sell it in 90 days, I'll buy it. Think of like a business, think about a house, think about any purchase that has a high, that's probably going to get, sold. You could do something like that. You can offer a bonus. Like let's say you close them on coaching, and then you give them your book, you give them your online, online access to your online business academy. Like for all of our clients, we make them an author in 30 days, and we provide them an online business academy that's super impressive. Well, if you cancel, I will give you your money back, and you can keep access to my e-learning system and keep my book, right? So you could keep the bonuses and still get your dough back. Think of the person that's hearing you say that. Like they're very comfortable that you're not full of poo-poo, right? Maybe like I know Tony Robbins has done this a lot, like where you offer to donate the amount of money to a favorite charity if they're not satisfied. So that way, presumably you could feel a little bit more comfortable that you're not going to be taken advantage of, especially when you're doing, multiple 7 figures. This might be a better roadmap. Offer to buy them the competitor's product if they're not satisfied with yours. Just imagine I'm coaching the roofer, and I'm like, look, if you're not happy, right? One of my best buds is Road Dog down the road. Really good guy. We work closely. I'll tell you what, I will pay, because if you're not happy with me, that means you don't want me to continue with you. What I will do is I will pay Road Dog to come in here and work with you until you're 100% satisfied. Look, would I offer that? No, to be honest with you, just because I just don't think that that's, going to be the greatest. That's just not going to be the best frame for a business coaching relationship. That's not Road Dog that I won't recommend, by the way. That's just like as a framework. I don't think that would get by. But imagine if you were willing to do that, you're selling couches, and it's, if you don't love this couch, I'll buy the one down the street for you that you were also thinking of buying, right? Again, good example, bad example. But my goal here is to get your kind of, your money back guarantee motor running. Like one of the things that I used to do, you might be able to do this like from a speaking event, right? Like a guarantee is very, very powerful. So what I would do is I would guarantee to solve any marketing problem on the spot. It's a guarantee, right? And then I did that actually, I don't know, it's probably 18 months ago now, whenever it was, but I guaranteed to solve any business coaching problem on the spot. And again, I should probably do a few more of those because they were a lot of fun. Got some great feedback, and it was kind of spontaneous, and I think the folks that came liked it. I enjoyed it. But bottom line is, what presentation could you run and basically solve the problem? And then as I say that, and you're a business coach and you go, oh my God, to put that much pressure on myself to guarantee to solve any marketing problem on the spot, you know what? It's not rocket science by any stretch of the imagination. And if you're like, so what you do is like somebody, Road Dogg asked me a question. He's like, blah, 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 right? He asked that question. Great question. And then I go, what I do is because I'm like, oh my God, what's the answer to this? I need time to think. What I do is I get him to repeat the question, which is going to give me about, 10 to 20 seconds to be able to, recalibrate my thoughts and get my thoughts together and think of, look, what's the answer that I should be bringing to the table here? And that's how you do it. So, but guess what? I did tons of them, so I got significantly better. The first one, don't kid yourself, I was pooping my pants, including the one where I guaranteed to solve any business coaching problem on the spot, which, by the way, is out there as a podcast. If you'd like to listen to it, there's a few. I think there was 4 of them. You could listen to those. And I had some heavyweights that showed up. I'll give you the red hot tip. And I was like, whew, if these guys ask a question, there's a chance. Like if their goal was to stump me, they could come up with something and make it, I don't know. Could they have stumped me? I don't know. I can tell you that I didn't get stumped, and I don't think you would get stumped. And I think by putting yourself out there like that, it's a little bit different than a money back guarantee, but it's certainly a guarantee that's got a lot of power. It'll provide you preeminence in the audience. Let's say there's 50 people in the room. I'm going to introduce you to 50 people that'll be pretty interested in working with you as their high-end coach because of the way you put yourself out there, right? Like who else is willing to guarantee this stuff and put them on the spot? And if you mess it up, you mess it up. Guess what? You'll be that much better for the next one. It's the excitement versus, fear versus excitement. It's kind of the same thing. So bottom line, there's lots of others, no doubt, that I could, think of and drop on you, but, get creative. Your risk reversal strategy is designed to make your prospect feel certain. Because again, that's curiosity will get me in the door. Certainty will get me your credit card. Your job is to make them feel certain. We say that all the time to our internal clients, 2 words, curiosity. That's where we guarantee to fight any business owner $100,000 in 45 minutes without them spending an extra dollar on marketing or advertising. And then we built proprietary software that has 497 million weighted algorithmic sequences that populate a roadmap that the business owner can now use with or without us to basically realize, the $100,000 that we provided in the meeting, right? And, they're thinking, what the hell did you just say? And give me some of that, right? So again, it's designed, curiosity, like show me. And then the certainty, when you sit down with our software and you walk them through and then it pumps out a roadmap, there's a level of certainty there where there's, values attributed to everything. And then, we have a Jumpstart 12 and there's 12 specific areas with hard numbers beside it. There's a level of certainty that it provides. So that's, risk reversal, money back guarantee, whatever you want to call it. It's designed to make people, comfortable, So look, Road Dogg, so I'm selling coaching back in the day. Again, I would sell pretty darn close to 100% of the people that I sat with. And the simple reason is my attitude. I say this a lot, but it's not about doing your best. Your best isn't good enough. You got to do what it takes, which is possibly the 2 a.m. Basically, maybe it's 5 a.m. Maybe it's, jumping in a plane and going to the client. Maybe it's jumping in your car and driving down. Maybe it's answering the phone on their behalf. Maybe it's sitting beside them as they answer the phone and do what they're doing. Maybe it's looking at their accounts receivable, like we talked about last week, and helping them itemize it, and age it and work out, okay, where are these guys at? What money may or may not we be collecting, right? So you really, it's the attitude that, like, when I sat with somebody, I was just prepared to do whatever it took. So I had no problem with a money back guarantee, with guaranteeing results, with making grandiose promises, because I was just committed to facilitating the result. And then, by the way, I didn't have kids at that stage, and I got started at a younger age. So you need to work out exactly where you're at. But my coaching deals back in the day, $100,000 was one. So I don't know, inexpensive, but I sold lots of them. I've sold 250,000. I've sold significantly more than that, with contingencies and everything else. And yes, again, I did get paid. But again, risk reversal, in order to get somebody to, pony up for $100,000 agreement, you bet your life that, risk reversal techniques, some of which I just listed, some, a little bit. I used to carry a blank check in my pocket. You were humming and hawing. I'd whip out the check. I'd fill it out from 12 months from today for the number that you were about to part with. Let's say it was 25 grand. I'd write you a $25,000 check made out to you 12 months from today and say, does this make you feel more comfortable? And by the way, I didn't do it at the beginning. I didn't do it all the time. I did it when it was necessary, right? But again, I learned that was a pretty clever technique. So I was going into and again, by the way, I was doing this all face to face, but I could absolutely do that on Zoom, Anyway, so, and it was just a matter of sliding the paperwork in front of them, order form close, and say, look, let's get this thing started. So that's my answer, Road Dog. Risk reversal, I do money back guarantee. It's once again, little red arrow. You are here. If you're new to coaching, I'm going to say that that's probably a better idea than if you're super experienced with your coaching. Probably not necessary. So that's what I'd say, Shoots. What would you say?
I was going to ask about the blank check. I was going to bring that up because I know that that's something that you used to do. Did you also have another a diary of so you could go to the bank after and cancel those checks too, or how did that
Possibly.
Oh my God! But I was going to bring that up because that's a good point. I just want to make one quick point. You talked about the solving any problem on the spot.
Yep.
Look, no one, unless they're a real jerk, is there to intentionally try and stump you.
Yeah.
Right? Like they're legit looking for an answer. And if anything else, like if you're looking to stall, and by the way, I'm curious how many times you've said to Tammy, could you repeat that question? Like, I'm sure that happens where you're just like, oh, what am I going to say here? I'm sure that's happened a few times. But again, if you're it's like, okay, well, before I give you my thoughts, tell me what you've done to try and solve this problem before.
Nice. You just bought yourself 3 minutes.
At least, right?
If not 10. There you go, folks. Right, write that one down.
Like right there, that, and why do you think that didn't work? No. Right? Like, you're basically going to get them to answer the question, right? Do you still believe that strategy could work? Yes. Okay. How so? What would you change? What would you adjust? Great. What do you need me for? Right? Like, it's just, or you add some magic to it. I just think that there's...
definitely add. I like that. Yeah. So like I said, they're answering. It's what you do. So now somebody's listening and they're like, hey, but if they do all the answering, then I'm not going to walk away with all that preeminence, right? First of all, just by facilitating the presentation, you will get that, whoa, you just do, or for certainly a good percentage of your audience. But what you do, like say Road Dog's in the audience, he asks something, I give, he gives his own answer because I ask a clever question like Road Dog just gave us. Now, what I do is he answers, let's just say he gives 5 bits. I go, perfect. Now, what I just heard, 1, 2, and you need to be listening. You got to give a crap, right? So Road Dog's give me his answer. He's in the audience. Most people are listening to respond. I'm listening to listen. And then I'm like, okay, I hear 1, I hear 2, I hear 3, 4, 5. And then in my brain, I think I'd probably calibrating that to go, okay, Road Dog, love it. Really good answers. I think these 2 are 4 and 5, and I think your best bets are 1, 2, and 3. You know what I mean? So now I've gotten you to answer it, and then my preeminence comes through. Okay, let's put this in an orderly fashion for you, right? And then maybe we 80-20 it, 150 it, where I'm like, what's the big needle mover, right? So, anyways, I like that, Road Dog. Well done, Shoots.
The other thing I will say is this too, right? A great coach, you don't always have to have the home run. You don't always have to have the answer. It's just asking a better question. So at the end of the day, you can frame it that way too and go, okay, folks, you see what just happened here? By simply allowing me to reflect back to him or her and go deeper into the question, right? It's all about having that, and that's what it's truly all about. A coach is there to help you ask better questions so you come up with better solutions. That's it. And for the most
100%.
part, that's anyways. Fantastic. And by
but
the
you
way,
said, hey, Road Dog, can I just say, you said something really important there, because not just about the question. It's like you said, to come up with better answers, right? So or solutions, right? Because ultimately that's what coaching is, right? You got to find solutions. Too many folks, they spend all their time in kumbaya and everybody feeling wonderful about themselves and getting motivated and yada yada yada. It's not to say that that's not there, but that the role of you as a business coach is a problem solver. So,
dude, look at it this way: you and I both love Tony Robbins, right? So if anybody watched on Netflix, the
Guru,
right? Yep. I think you and I we probably streamed it like 1,000 times between the two of us when we're not watching our favorite Christmas movie. But anyways, so The Family Man, Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, that's it. Nice.
Love that. Anywho, so on that note, on that, like, remember at the beginning when that girl stands up and she's just like, oh, I'm not happy with my weight or something, and she's like super skinny to begin with, and then when they interview Tony behind the stage, he's like, look, people come at you with surface level problems, and it's the same in coaching, right? They're at the surface level, and you've got to go probably 2, 3, 4, 10 layers deep to actually get to the root of the problem. And it's the only way to get there is to ask better questions. That's it.
Yeah, nice. I want to say this, yeah, agreed, high five. If you define the problem properly, which is not easy to do, but if you define the problem properly, the answer is staring straight at you. That's where the magic is. Like the solution to the problem is in defining the problem properly. So it's like sharp. What's that saying, Road Dog? Like if I had an hour to chop down the tree, I'd spend 50 odd minutes sharpening my saw and then whack it. Right? A little bit the same. Spend your time defining the problem, more time defining the problem, which in a compounding way, you'll get better and better and better and better and better at it. Like I'll just tell you, here's one for me, Road Dog. I have found myself recently, and I'm driving my wife nuts with it, but I can't help myself. But I just on a constant, like throughout the day, on big rocks, big rocks, big rocks, big rocks. I'm spending my time. I'm just making sure I'm not working on that. We talked about the law of triviality recently. In fact, we talked about it a few times. Super powerful. And the law of triviality is that if given the option between working on something trivial and something complex, you will go to trivial organically, naturally, automatically. You need, to go to complex. And the example we gave was, the school working on the yearbook instead of the curriculum, right? So I find myself on a daily basis just going big rock, big rock, big rock, big rock, big rock. And I got to tell you, it's a needle mover, and it's just defining, and that's relevant for what we're describing with defining the problem properly. But it's just, I think that if you just embody that, or maybe it's the different way of asking it for you is 80-20, 80-20, 80-20. I find the big rock, that big rock is different for me than 80-20. But what is it for you, and ask yourself a really simple, easy, but high level question consistently throughout the day. And you might find that your level of productivity, your level of efficiency, the level of, the number of problems that you solve on a daily, weekly, monthly basis might dramatically change. It's harder, not as fun, but it's a needle mover. So
I want to add one other thing in here. Okay. And that is because I was my boy Elon. I was inspired by him the other day when I heard this, because I think, okay, I'm going to go back to this risk reversal thing, because I can guarantee you, and I know you're going to agree with me on this, a lot of people are really concerned about the offer they're going to make, but they're not even picking up the phone to have the initial conversation. And Elon Musk was asked, how do we even know? You're trying everything you can to get to Mars. How do we even know that it's that you can actually live there? He goes,
Yeah.
like, first off, we've got to get there to find out. But you can't find out unless you get there. So, and that's it. So what's he focused on? Getting there. And then he'll solve that next problem when he gets there. So
Nice.
I would say a lot of coaches, a lot of people in general with the questions and the problems that they have are looking way into the future about problems that could potentially arise, but they're not doing the front end work. Pick up the phone.
Nice. Okay, love it. Road Dog, can I just tell me this is what you're saying? Worrying about your client asking for their money back after you work with them with 90 days, right, is kind of like this is the little rock, right? What you got to do is you got to come up with your pitch, come up with your deliverable, come up with the problem that you're going to solve, get your butt down to the local networking group, the local chamber, the oil and gas club, the yacht club, the high-end networking event, and get in there and get yourself a darn client, right? So you agree with this, the equivalent of Elon Musk worrying about whether there is life there as opposed to getting there?
It's the cart before the horse. You're worried about a conversation, which is 3 conversations down the road, when you're not even getting appointments, and you're worried about a closing conversation. Yeah. Right? Like, what are we talking about here? Like, that, it just, to me, that just seems insane. And I realize, like, for me, I could pick this whole thing apart myself, but we're going long and I don't want to spend all day on this. But the thing that I find absolutely crazy is, if you're setting a frame of, I'll give you your money back, what kind of a frame are you setting? How much confidence is that client getting that, well, like, no, we're good. Like, you'll be fine. Like, the whole risk reversal thing should be an afterthought. It should be just an add-on. It's not like a big selling feature. If one of your biggest selling features is you can get your money back, how do you think they're entering that relationship? Like, that, to me, it's like, what are we even doing here? Like, you're almost setting yourself up for disappointment. Like, that's the way I view it anyways. I just think we talked about negative mindsets. I think that's a very negative mindset to go into it with. Unless you're just talking a volume business, this is a relationship business. So,
agreed.
Setting up some negativity. I don't know if you're doing anybody any good. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but I'm not going into it thinking it's going to fail. I'm going into it knowing it's going to work. And like you said, if I got to sit with them, whatever I got to do. You drove around with a real estate agent in their car.
I did.
Right?
True story, but done that more than once, by the way. But yeah, literally in the car. And again, I leveraged that times a million, because now I knew the legitimate problems that a realtor was facing. You know what I mean? Like, so imagine, you know what I mean? Like, you see the difference? That is, I think the average coach, though, would hear that. And it's like, oh, am I going to go? And then you got to be careful with setting a precedent. Like, are you going to have to, are you going to have to ride with them every day type of thing? And it's clearly not the case. You just manage expectations before you get going. Like, here's what we're going to do this week. Here's what we're going to do. And part of it is I'm going to do a ride along with you. I want to have a little bit of a look. I want to hear some of these conversations. I want to, when somebody, responds to the ad, what's that call look like? I want to hear you. Right. Anyway, so yeah, absolutely, bud. Don't do your best, man. Do what it takes.
Exactly. So, do what it takes, and go in with that mindset that it's just going to get done, rather than focused all of your time and energy of 5 different money back guarantees you can make. Don't waste your time. Take that time and call 5 people, right? Like, that's it. All right, I'm done. I'm like going so far here.
Well done.
You know what? Anyways, what do you think? What do you want to close us out on? What's one thing?
What is one thing, Shoots? I think the negative versus, the negative versus positive, it's just a vantage point. There's a debate to say that that's platitudinal, and, every motivational video on YouTube or audio would, kind of cover that. But then my question is, okay, so it, are you living it? Are you doing it? You know what I mean? Because, it's like success is just, it's going to happen inside your body, in between your ears. What you say to yourself about yourself when you're by yourself matters, right? So again, a little bit to Road Dog's point, if you're worried, about things 3 steps from now, just go and just encapsulate it. Go solve some problems. Go to the networking group with the attitude of solving people's problems, as opposed to going to the networking group and trying to get a client. You know what I mean? Imagine how and that's something that you can control, as opposed to something you can't control, which is very important. And then see if you get a better result. And if you want an example of how I do this, I write an email that goes to 100,000 people every single day. It takes an enormous amount of time, an enormous amount of effort. And I do it. And, podcasts, I don't even know where we're at, Road Dog, but we're well over 100 podcasts out there, maybe approaching 200. You know what I mean? And we're here, we're consistent. I like to think we're resilient. There's times when you weren't feeling well. There were, public holidays. There were times when, I was just not, my dad was just, been put in ICU. I don't know. That wasn't, the most ideal time to be saying, Road Dog, let's get this let's get this podcast going and answer some questions. But you do it, and not in any way trying to pat Road Dog, and definitely not myself on the back, trying to say that's how we do it. You know what I mean? So for you can't control whether or not you're going to get a client, but you can control your attitude, your positivity to go down to the local networking group, quote unquote. When I say networking group, you get some very low level people there. So be a little bit careful with that. But little red arrow, where are you at? You're just starting out. That's perfect. It's fine. But ultimately, I'd rather spend my time at the yacht club, oil and gas club, those types of clubs, the golf club. And I think that you'll find a higher level of entrepreneur stirring around. So that's what I'd say. That's what I'd say is our one thing. I got a good
quote for you, bud. This is actually from Stephen Furtick yesterday. It's not what you experience. It's not what you experience. It's how you explain it to yourself.
Nice. Yeah, nice.
How good is that? Okay? Because
nice. I like it. Perfect.
You can play the victim all you want in any circumstance. Or you can choose to use it as a lesson. So anyways. Yeah. All right, man. We're on fire here. We could keep going. We've got things to do. We're encouraging to make phone calls and talk to people and help business owners get on the right track. So thanks everybody for tuning into another episode of Business Coaching Secrets with the King of the Caribbean himself, Dr. Karl Bryan. And if you're not on the inside and getting access to the pre-show, or you aren't getting Karl's daily emails, or you want more information on how to build your own coaching company, or perhaps the group coaching software, which shockingly we didn't touch on today, visit focused.com and subscribe today. Also, again, if you enjoyed the podcast, please share it. We don't want to, spark any outrage and have Neil Young hate on us or anything like that. So the more positive reviews, the better. So if you could do that, that'd be great. And of course, refer it to everybody that you know. And that is it for another week. Remember, folks, progress equals happiness. Take care, everybody. We'll see you on the next episode.
Karl Bryan built Profit Acceleration Software 2.0 to train business coaches how to find any small business owner more than $100,000 in 45 minutes without them spending an extra dollar on marketing or advertising. This becomes a business coach's superpower. So as a business coach, you'll never again have to worry about working with business owners that can't afford your high-end coaching fees. Check us out at focused.com.